Hey guys, MTU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the San Diego Comic-Con SDCC 2025 exclusive 3-pack, the Marvel GamerVerse for the mobile game, I think. I don't even know what game this is. Marvel Snap. I'm almost positive it's a mobile game, like a trading card mobile game. I have no idea. I've never played it, never downloaded it. I'm not sure. Maybe after this, I will be interested. I probably am not going to. I don't think I am. But this, if that's what it takes to finish off Savage Land, we got ka-zar, we got Zabu, we now have Shanna the She-Devil. We've had Sauron, but I know a lot of folks probably missed out on that Build-A-Figure and would like to get their hands on it, so we have that opportunity. But the most important one is the Savage Land Rogue. And yes, I am aware that people had extreme difficulties being able to order this 3-pack from Hasbro Pulse because it just sold out extremely quick. And I know people are frustrated. I get it. I completely understand. Pre-COVID, that's how it was every single year. We've been spoiled the last few years to where things were much easier to obtain. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be the case. I'm just saying that this is how it was for many years. So this is not anything new. I was able to attend San Diego Comic-Con, so I was able to actually pick this up in person. It's just taken me forever to be able to get to the review. But I hear you. I get it. It sucks. I mean, who knows? Maybe they will do an additional run at some point. I don't even know if they did this like pre-order to where they have a second run coming, or they may do another run. I don't know what's going on, but maybe there's a chance that they do more. I don't know. But again, this is kind of how things used to be for many years in a row. People always had difficulties being able to get it. You know, before Hasbro Pulse, it was Hasbro Toy Shop. And it was kind of the same thing. People would have to try and hurry up and get it, and it would miss out. So hopefully you guys got it. Hopefully you weren't able to miss out. Hopefully you attended San Diego Comic-Con and were able to pick up the 3-pack in person. The box looks really cool. We get this really cool design. So you got Savage Land, some stuff, some dinosaur bones and things like that going on. Got this Marvel Snap logo up there at the top. Looking at the top of the box, you see Marvel's Shanna the She-Devil, Marvel's Sauron, and Marvel's Rogue. The wraparound on the side is just like dinosaurs and things like that. I'm not be able to get it into light so you guys can see. And then I guess this has something to do with the cards, right? So you got Rogue, Sauron, and Shanna. Those are the digital renders of the figures based onto a card. I don't know what the numbers mean. I'm sure it has something to do with something in the game. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments below if you guys have played the game. But enough of that. Let's open this up. Let's take a look at the figures. Alright, so here are the 3 of them out of the package. And Shanna and Rogue are kind of the same figure. Not really. Like, it's kind of weird. You would think they'd be the exact same. They do share some parts, obviously, like the arms and legs. But their outfits are kind of different, I guess. Like the lower sash piece for each of them is the same, but their tops are different. The armbands are different. The frills on their boots are actually different. So there are some differences between the two. Sauron does get some updates. Like we do have pinless knees. I have to check with the MCU Lizard figure if those are the same legs, because that's something that they could have done this go around. So we'll kind of take a look at that. So we'll go ahead and do each one kind of individually, focus on the accessories that each one of them comes with, and then we will go over like articulation and all of that. So we'll start off with Sauron, then we'll move to Shanna, and then we'll finish off with Rogue. Alright, so here's Sauron. So he has this effect piece on here, and I don't know if it's like a hypnotizing type of effect because he's got like the swirl design in his eyes. It just kind of clips onto his beak there, and then it's pretty cool. So I kind of like that. So I kind of put some color lights in here. Let's go ahead and change it back so we can just kind of go on about this a little bit regular. And we don't have to worry about that. So that's the only accessory that Sauron is going to come with, is this effect piece. And again, it like clips right on there. As you can see, it's kind of the way it's designed. You kind of push it in almost into like his nostrils, but yeah, actually it does kind of rest into his nostrils there. So that's kind of cool that you have that there. It is the same Sauron head that we got before, so you know you do have the articulated jaw. Getting in for a close-up look at the eyes, you can see the eyes kind of have that hypnotized gaze look in there, which is kind of creepy looking and kind of cool. The figure itself has a lot of reuse. So the wings on there are the same wings that we got on the previous Sauron Build-A-Figure. The arms are the same, the body is the same, the head's the same, the feet are the same, the tail is new, and the legs are new. So that is really good. So, but the body is the same. Again, wings are the same. Arms are the same, hands are the same, head is the same, torso is the same. It's not as loose as my Build-A-Figure one was. His skirt piece, though, is different. We don't have the sculpted pouches and bags on there, but the legs are completely new. The feet, however, are the same, but the legs are new. They are not the same as the lizard's legs at all. These are specific to Sauron. They're very, very similar to the previous legs. And you might think, well, they just made them pinless, which kind of, sort of, like, that's not exactly how that works. They could use an existing digital sculpt and then change it from there, but I think it would still require new tooling and all of that to be able to do it. And then the process of pin versus pinless is completely different on how they assemble them and do all that. But they are similar legs. You get a light green in the front, kind of similar to how we have in the body, and then in some parts of the arm, just, I guess, hardly that, I guess, literally just on the bicep that we actually get that light green in there. And then the feet are the same, but this time around we actually get the claws painted in. So we got the dark green foot, but then you got the dark claws in there, which is good. Let me turn on another light so we can get some more light in there. So that's what we got going on. Purple skirt piece in there that just kind of keeps riding up a little bit. The tail is new, and the best thing about the tail is a bendy wire. And the awesome thing about this bendy wire, it's a really nice bendy wire that can get you some really good bend in there. So it's you know, it's a hard rubber, but it's enough to where you can actually kind of pose it around and curl out the tail a little bit, and it stays for the most part. So that is really good. You could tell that there's no wire kind of on that end piece there. But I really like it because the fact that you could do that and it can kind of stay in place a little bit better than some of the other bendy wire that we get, kind of like Dragon Man's tail, where, in my opinion, it was just a little too thick, a little too hard, not soft enough, I guess. Pause. So that's kind of the difference there. But Sauron, again, very, very similar to the previous one because the wings and stuff like that are the same. You could tell they're basically painted in the same exact way as well. We do get painted claws on the hands as well, whereas the previous one we did not. And then, you know, we just had kind of the red eyes on the previous one. But again, the body is the same. The skirt piece is different. But whoops. See, yeah, this Build-A-Figure was great at the time, but man, just over time it just doesn't hold up nearly as well. And then it's painted, I think, a little bit better. You could clearly see the teeth a little bit more on the newer one. So that's what's going on. So the new one looks a whole heck of a lot better. We don't get the shiny plastic like that this one really has. It's more dulled down on the new one. So we have all those benefits going there, but it is similar. But if you missed out on that Build-A-Figure before, hopefully you were able to get this one. If you have the previous one and all you cared about was Sauron, maybe you didn't need this pack, but I still think, again, the highlight is going to be either the Savage Land Rogue or to finish out your Savage Land set if you've got ka-zar and Zabu. And then, you know, Hasbro did do it before in a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 3-pack, but we've now gotten new ones. I do not have those old figures to be able to compare for you guys, unfortunately. So that is Sauron. We're going to go ahead and jump on over into Shanna the She-Devil. Okay, before we get to Shanna the She-Devil, one other change that they did here is the dumbbell joint on the old Build-A-Figure. As you can see, that ball peg sat very low, which meant the head didn't get a whole lot of movement, like looking down or anything like that. The new one, as you can see, the dumbbell joint was raised up significantly, so you can actually get some good movement in that neck, moving him around, getting him to look up, kind of looking down, but just a whole lot of more pivot and things like that. So that was a huge improvement there. Okay, so Shanna the She-Devil, and she looks awesome. The hair is kind of swept out and kind of big and everything like that. There's some shading in there to kind of bring out the details, so that is good. There you can see she's just kind of wearing all tan. Where did I put ka-zar? I got ka-zar here. So I will do a comparison with ka-zar. Again, I don't have that previous San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from many years ago of Shanna the She-Devil to be able to compare for you guys. But she has a very good look to her here. We get this like rubber overlay piece that's kind of part of the sculpt. I think they sculpted that upper torso to kind of make sure that this piece fits in there. And that looks good, and it is the opposite side of Rogue, as you can see there, so they didn't just reuse it. Now, it could just be a mirror of itself kind of thing, but the tatters aren't even the same, so, you know, it is a new one there. But the skirt the skirt piece is actually the same between the two figures. So they did do that the same. And then I'm sure the legs are the same and all that, but the boots are different. As you can see, the tatters of the boots are a little bit different design. So we kind of have this more fur look over here for Shanna the She-Devil. And then these arm wraps and everything like that that she's got, those are actually different from Rogue. They are not the same whatsoever. So that looks good. She comes with the knife, so you can actually put the knife there. In addition to the knife, she has 2 extra sets of hands. So I already kind of swapped some around. Out of the package, she has fists. So we got fists for Shanna. Then we have grip hands. So I got a grip on the right hand already. So we got the grip for the left as well. I wish they were the vertical hinge. They are the standard horizontal hinge. And then we get these generic open hands that have come with like every single female figure ever. And then we also get this rifle. So this rifle is done pretty good. We've probably seen this before. I don't know if this was in like Kraven's Last Hunt, that 2-pack. But we got this rifle here. She can't really hold it. I mean, she can hold it, but you can't use the trigger on it. Like, she doesn't have trigger hands. And I don't know if they've even made female trigger hands. So there is that. So it's kind of weird, but it's cool that she comes with it. She also has a spear, and I'll have to take a look if this is the same spear that came with ka-zar. But the spear is different from the one that Rogue comes with, because the one that Rogue comes with is kind of the reused one that we've seen many times before, that has the feathers and stuff like that. We've seen it with Kraven. We've seen it with Black Panther, with Shuri. I'm pretty sure it's the same. But you know, that's what we got there. You can see they are different heights. Let me zoom out a little bit. Oh, they're pretty close. Actually, they're pretty similar, but this one has a thicker handle compared to this one, a little rounded bottom versus kind of a flat bottom there, but no feathers on this one. So that's the big difference there. So those are the accessories with Shanna. Again, she looks really good. And then let's go ahead and get to putting Zabu, ka-zar, and Shanna together, because that'll be pretty cool to see. Okay, so there we go. We've got ka-zar, we've got Shanna the She-Devil, and then Shanna the She-Devil? Shanna. I think it's Shanna. And we've got Zabu in there. Very cool that we have these 3. The original San Diego Comic-Con 3-pack at the time, I think, was considered pretty good. But the advancements in action figures, you know, since then, obviously Hasbro had to have done better this time around. I'm sure there's still a certain mystique and magic to having that set if you still got it. So I don't know that it's necessarily something where you need to replace those 3 with these 3. But I think if you have these 3, you will be happy with them. But you guys let me know if you guys have that original San Diego Comic-Con 3-pack. How do you think these 3 stack up and measure to that older set? Let me know which one you guys prefer. Okay, so here is the Rogue figure, and again, I think this one is the highlight. This is the one that I think people really wanted in terms of additional X-Men figures, and we think Savage Land, it's like, oh, will we ever get a Savage Land Rogue? And here we finally have it. Yes, she was held hostage in a 3-pack. Yes, it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. But another thing is, you know, would a figure like this ever see the light of day at retail? No, because look at the outfit, right? That's not a retail figure that you find in a toy aisle, you know, a kid's toy aisle. Could they do fan channel or something like that? I would hope they could do something like that. Obviously, you know, Pulse, because it's a Comic-Con exclusive. I think in an interview that I think with Jesse Falcon that A Toy Kind of Mood, Travis Moody did, I think he had mentioned something like these figures could potentially be released on their own. Would they be? There's no guarantee of that, but it is something that is technically within the realm of possibility. But looking at Rogue, and again, the skirt piece is the same as the Shanna figure. The armband here on Rogue is different from the ones that Shanna has. She's got green gloves on there. She's got this wrap around her leg there. The tatteredness of the boots is different. Same knife that Shanna comes with. The only other thing that Rogue comes with is the spear, and again, we had talked about this spear earlier there with the blue feathers and the beads in there. So that is Rogue there, and I've seen people say something about the head sculpt. They don't really care for it. I think it looks okay. I don't think it's terrible in any kind of way. I think it's alright. The white hair seems to be a separate piece. The white hair seems to be a separate piece from the darker brown hair, so that's kind of how they were able to do that, you know, instead of like doing paint in it, not looking real clean. And then she's got the green headband on there. So yeah, there we go with Rogue. I think she looks great. Let's go ahead and see her next to Professor X, because I think Professor X is the only other Savage Land X-Men figure that we've gotten. Okay, so here we have the Savage Land Professor X, the Target exclusive one. And then this is the Target exclusive Jim Lee Rogue, the retro carded version. I was going to do the Outback Rogue, but I couldn't really find where I put that figure, unfortunately. So I couldn't bring that out for a side-by-side comparison. And then my Magneto figures are kind of all tied up. So I didn't bring out a Magneto figure, but you know, proper Savage Land, we've got Professor X, and now here we have Rogue. Okay, so Sauron's articulation, I'm going to do this in a couple of different ways. So the elbow is a single joint, so you can get a full look at wings kind of there. And then as you fold out the wings, you could see that that flap covers the wing a little bit. This piece here, you could swivel out, but then you're going to get a cut in there. So you want to kind of keep it at that point there. Now, for ease of use in this video, I'm actually going to remove these pieces to the wings. They come off, they just peg on nice and easy. But I want to be able to kind of do this as easily as possible in here. So just a heads up on that. The tail can shift up and down, by the way. So the tail can shift. The neck is on this separate piece, so you can pull that neck back if you want to get him into some flight posing, that sort of thing there. And again, you could really get that neck to look up, which is really good, you know, adjusting that dumbbell joint in there, which is awesome. And then again, the jaw is articulated, as you could see there. You get full rotation in that head. You get some really good pivot going on now, which is great. The arm, you can get straight on out and upwards a little bit. You could do a full rotation on that arm, and then there is a bicep swivel, and again, a single joint at the elbow gives you a 90 degrees. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, standard horizontal hinge there. We have the diaphragm cut on Sauron, so he could tilt to his left only a little bit. He could tilt to his right only a little bit there. It doesn't really move back, and it does move forward a little bit, not a huge amount. You do get a swivel at that diaphragm in there. Like so. Legs go out that far apart, which is good. He can kick forward that far, so not too bad. The leg goes back a little ways. You have an upper thigh cut in there, or kind of a mid thigh cut, actually. A double jointed pinless knee gives you that much bend at the knee, which is nice. Foot hinges down all the way. You get some good hinge up, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So that is for Sauron. Now we're going to jump on into the two ladies, and let me adjust a little bit here. Okay, so these two are obviously going to have some pretty similar articulation. Shanna can look down. She's not going to be able to look up much because her hair is quite large. You can do a full rotation in there, and she does kind of pivot on the neck a little bit. The arm you can get to go straight on out like so. Full rotation in there. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbow gives you that much bend at the elbow. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge for all the hands. In there, the diaphragm cut, Shanna can tilt to her left that much. She could tilt to her right that much there. She can lean back a whole hell of a lot, but coming forward is going to be basically nothing at all, unfortunately. Swivel at that diaphragm. Legs go out that far apart. She can't kick forward that far. The leg doesn't really go back. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee gives you that much bend at the knee. And here's what's really going to bother me and a lot of others. You sculpted this boot, and you have two separate pieces. So you have the leg piece, you have the boot piece. If they have to come together, why would you not do it to where they swivel? Hasbro's been doing this like crazy a lot lately, like crazy is how I meant to say that. Why have the separate pieces, bring them together and make it to where you don't swivel the boot? I don't understand it, and I just don't get it. Foot hinges down, hinge up, ankle pivot. No peg holes at the bottom of these feet. No peg holes at the bottom of these feet. Rogue is basically going to have the same articulation. She cannot look up whatsoever because she's got bigger hair. She can look down. The arm is going to go straight on out like so, just like before. Full rotation, double jointed elbow there. Wrist swivel, a hinge, standard horizontal hinge on all the sets of the hands. Diaphragm cut. She could tilt to her left that much. She could tilt to her right that much. She could lean back quite far. She does not really lean forward. Legs go out that far apart. She can kick forward that far. Leg doesn't really go back. Upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee gives you that much bend there at the knee. And guess what? Boot. No swivel. Foot hinges down, hinge up, ankle pivot, no peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Because again, the whole legs, with the exception of this top boot piece, are the same from Shanna, the she-devil. So that is the articulation on there. Not bad for the female figures because this is typically what we get. But the diaphragm, they need to do something. And then the boot swivel, why they keep doing lack of boot swivel, I don't understand. Hasbro, please stop doing that, or help explain why, if you have to do the two separate pieces and put them together, why can they not just swivel? I don't get it. Maybe there has to be a reason. There may not be. I just don't understand. Okay, so there is our Marvel Legends Savage Land. So yes, this one is kind of odd because it's technically Marvel GamerVerse and for the Marvel Snap card game. That's a mobile game, which I played it. They got me to download it. It's, you know, it happened, and I played it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't understand. I'm not really a big fan of the game, but it got us the Savage Land 3-pack, so that is cool. We get to finish off, you know, because we had Zebu, we got ka-zar, and now we have Shanna the She-Devil. Why they do stuff like that, where they have, you know, a couple of them that are a little bit easier to obtain, and one really difficult one? It's just kind of one of those things. Could they do a 3-pack of those three at some other point? Well, yeah, more than likely. But you guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of this set, this 3-pack set? Are you happy with the Rogue figure? Are you happy with the Shanna the She-Devil? Are you happy with the upgrades to Sauron? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys missed out on it, let me know your guys' thoughts. If you're happy you missed out on it, or if you still really want to get it. Hopefully there will be another chance at some point or something. Other re-releases, I don't know. Maybe Hasbro PulseCon, when they do that, a select number will become available again. I don't know. But you guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.